I'd like to call the July meeting of the Edison Library Board to order and let the minutes reflect that it is 7:07 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Aristani. Ms. Krauze.
Here.
Ms. Massey.
Here.
Ms. Meade. Mr. Naik. Ms. O'Neill.
Here.
Ms. Peng.
Here.
Okay. Ms. Ruane.
Here.
And Mr. Yee.
Here.
6 present at the moment. 7 present. Fiona has just joined us.
Oh, good. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Hopefully everyone had an opportunity to review them.
This is Lisa, so moved.
Is there a second?
This is Sue, second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Or no, sorry, roll call, please.
Mr. Aristani. Ms. Krauze.
Yes.
Ms. Meade. Ms. Meade. Mr. Naik. Ms. O'Neill.
Yes.
Ms. Peng.
Yes.
Ms. Ruane.
Yes.
Mr. Yee.
Yes.
Ms. Massey.
Yes.
6 yes, 3 absent. Unless Fiona is now unmuted.
So Fiona has been going in and out. I guess there's an issue.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Minutes are approved.
The financial reports. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the trustee account report? And are there any questions?
No questions, just if I could request commas.
Oh, yeah. Anyone else? All right, then we have the approval of the bill listing. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the bill listing? If so, do we have a motion to approve the bill listing?
This is Lisa.
Sorry.
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, this is Lisa, so moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I was trying to ask one question on that one.
Sure. Yes, David.
There's an item of 25,000. That's for the Midwest tape. Is that the audio-video material we are trying to purchase or what?
Yes, that's a blanket account that the board approved earlier this year for the purchase of audio materials, DVDs, things like that.
That's the actual cost, or it's like, you are going to purchase, or it's already being purchased?
We will be purchasing more than that, but that's what we spend per quarter.
Okay.
Any other questions? And do we have a second before we move on? Do we have a second to this motion?
This is Sue. I will second.
Thank you. Do we have any further questions? If not, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Aristani? Ms. Krauze?
Yes.
Ms. Meade,
Yes.
Mr. Naik, Ms. O'Neill,
Yes.
Ms. Peng,
Yes.
Ms. Ruane,
Yes.
Mr. Yi,
Yes.
Ms. Massey.
Yes.
7 yes.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to the director's report.
The board portion of it. We had hoped to send a couple of members of the board to the annual New Jersey Library Trustee Institute. Due to the pandemic, it has been canceled. They may have some virtual programs provided instead. Regarding the foundation and the Friends, we are hoping to reconstitute the board for the foundation. We're also needing some volunteers so that we can renew the raffle license. Pat has volunteered to be one of those. I suppose I could be another one. Or I think I already volunteered, so we're still looking for 2 more names. So if anybody wants to be on the raffle license, send me an email. Library Link NJ had its annual meeting. They've appointed a new executive director. They're moving the office. Most significantly, the budget's been cut for the statewide library cooperative, and that will probably affect delivery services. There hasn't been any delivery service since March. They're not anticipating that it will resume until at least October. And when it does resume, we may be charged for our participation since the money won't be in the budget. Regarding board meetings, I'd sent out a doodle poll earlier, and I believe 6 or 7 of the members indicated that the best date for them was Tuesday, July 21st, a week from tonight. So the board needs to vote to set a special meeting for Tuesday, July 21st.
Do we have a motion to set the board meeting, the special board meeting on July 21st, next Tuesday?
Hey, this is Sue. I'll make a motion that we have a special board meeting on July 21st, Tuesday.
And do we have a second?
This is Lisa. I'll second.
Shall I call the roll? Any questions?
Yes, please.
Mr. Aristani? Ms. Krauze?
Yes.
Ms. Meade?
Yes.
Mr. Naik? Ms. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yeah, what time is the meeting? What time of the day?
7 o'clock we were proposing.
Okay, yes.
Ms. Ruane?
Yes.
Mr. Yi?
Yes.
Ms. Massey?
Yes.
7 yes. The one question is, do you want to do it virtually, or do you want to try to meet here or at North Branch in person? Yet socially distanced, of course.
I think we can do it virtually. I mean, with Zoom only for us, right? For the trustee.
Yes, there will be a closed meeting. No action taken.
Yeah, I would prefer that way.
Do you think if we have it in that format, can we use video at that time?
I think we can figure this out by that time, yes.
We have video on this. You just got to click the
Oh yeah, no, I know, but there were issues like getting on, so it just seems safer to keep it off.
All right,
Okay.
We'll set it up that way. And then also regarding board meetings, I am setting up appointments. I believe I have a meeting tomorrow morning with the mayor, and I'm meeting with a couple of others this week. Those of you who haven't responded to the poll, please respond so I can sit down with you and gather information in anticipation of our meeting.
This is Lisa. I do apologize. Can you please resend me the email?
Okay. I'll resend it to everybody.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Moving on, finances. You received the updated report on the trustees' accounts. Regarding a budget report, as some of you know, we've been having some personnel issues here in the office. My goal is to give you a 6-month budget report once we have staff in place, and then we'll have a 3rd quarter report. I do not believe, based on my review of the expenditures, that we are over in any line. Still working on the petty cash procedures. We have not been charging fines since we were closed, even though we've been, people have been returning books. And I would like to extend the courtesy to the public that we not collect any fines through August 8th. And that would require a motion from the board.
I'll move that we suspend the fines through August 8th. Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Lisa.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aristani? Ms. Krauze?
Yes.
Ms. Meade?
Yes.
Mr. Naik? Ms. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yes.
Ms. Ruane?
Yes.
Mr. Yee?
Yes.
Ms. Massey?
Yes.
7 yes, 2 absent. That concludes the finance part of my report. Buildings and grounds.
Quick question. Can someone unmute Neville? He just texted me, said he joined, but it got muted.
Oh, which one is him?
He's, okay, I see his number.
Okay.
He may only be available by phone. Let me rename him at least. Okay, there he is.
Okay, Ian, Neville? Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Okay.
Thank you.
I was just making notes to indicate when he entered the meeting. Buildings and grounds. Safety Committee met on June 23rd. We've developed a report on things that we feel need to be done around the 3 buildings. We'll be meeting later in the summer to prioritize this, and then we'll present the report to the board. On reopening, yesterday was our first day back. It was more than busy for the first 90 minutes. We had people waiting outside. I did a debrief with the staff at 5 o'clock, and everybody felt that it went well. We only made some minor changes for today. There were no lines today. The word is starting to get out. So we will continue to monitor the situation and hopefully restore hours add hours here at Maine and then add them at North and ultimately at Clara Barton as soon as we can. Information on the library construction bond grants. They did a completeness review. They kicked back 1 document to us. We fixed it, or the grant writer and the architect fixed it, and they sent it back. So our proposal is under review now. And
sorry to interrupt you. I was reading the reopening. Can you send we have the list of clients' email, patrons' email, right? Can you do some send some update so that the public is aware on how the library is reopened, right? And the procedure, those kind of information.
Well, we did put out, we've been posting information on our website, and we've been putting it on Facebook as well. So those are our two outlets at the moment for information.
Okay. I mean, previously, I know, like, we used to, there's one time we tried to send the email to all of the patrons list, because when you have a library card, sometimes you put your email address there so that you can, do that kind of communication, which can help to let everyone know. So.
Actually, we can't do that. We did have a subscription to Constant Contact that was allowed to lapse last fall, and we haven't had a chance to renew it yet. But we're not able to, and I believe it has something to do with federal spam regulations, send out a blanket email to all of our cardholders through LMXAC.
I just did it, like, I believe 1.5 years ago we were trying to do that one. I think we tried send the list and then that kind of communication. You are saying we cannot do it now?
I know in the past you cannot send out blanket emails through your circulation system. Now, as I noted, we did have a subscription to Constant Contact. People opted in voluntarily for that, and there were a significant number of people who had signed up for that. And Ms. Ming probably remembers the number better than I do, since she's assisting with this meeting. So that would be how we contacted our members. Shanshan, would you go ahead and report?
Yes, I think we have over 15,000 people subscribe to our newsletters through Constant Contact. Currently, the service is under review, and Keith will review it to see if we're going to continue this newsletter service. But I think, David, you probably made a good point. We will reach out to the board, to the education board, to see if they can send out the messages through their newsletter to all the students.
Oh, that's a very good idea. That is a very good idea. This is Pat. Because David is right, we have talked about improving the communication with the public, and we had been receiving, as you said, the Constant Contact messages every once in a while. But sending it out through the Board of Education could be, could be very helpful while we figure out what we can do ourselves.
Mm-hmm. We'll reach out to them then.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the fourth item under buildings and grounds, we had some issues with our cleaning crew that started on March 1st. After several talks with them, documentation, we turned it over to the township, and the township canceled the contract. So we've been without a cleaning crew since July 1st. I was informed today that the township went out and asked for they went back to the previous bidders and asked them to revise their bid and resubmit. And they looked at it today, and I have a motion for you. It's, and I'm sorry I didn't have this in your packet earlier. I would like the board to approve the recommendation to award an 8-month contract for cleaning to Cleaning Services of Hudson Valley, Inc. at a cost of $36,000.
So moved. This is Lisa, sorry.
Do we have a second?
This is Fiona, second.
Quick thing, sorry to interrupt you. Just Vasant emailed us saying he's on mute. Can someone unmute him?
There he is.
Vasant, did you have a question?
Vasant, are you in?
Keith, I had a quick question. When did you decide that you needed a new company? Like, I know you said from March 1st you had an issue which was documented and everything. At what point did you make up your mind that this is not going to work for you?
Excuse me. Is this Neville?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you had joined.
Mm-hmm. I would say sometime towards the beginning of May, things had gotten to the point where repeated meetings between our buildings and ground supervisor and their managers we're not getting anywhere. And it involved communicating with headquarters. And at that point, I told Robbie that he needed to start documenting everything. We also had some tape on the video cameras of some petty pilferage around the building as well. So for all those reasons, we collected the information, we turned it over to the township, and they agreed with us, and they terminated the contract.
So, Keith, actually, I was very blindsided because I understand that was just going on. And now, today, I'm supposed to vote on a $36,000 bill for 8 months, which is $4,500 a month. And to be true, I have nothing more than what you're telling us right now. I've not seen the competitive bids. I've not seen what the service entails, nothing.
Right. Well, that's what I was...
It's very unfortunate, but, I'm sure you can do better than this.
Well, the township is handling the bids, and they went to the previous bidders who were unsuccessful back at the beginning of the year. They received 2 quotes back, and one of them was rejected for incompleteness, which left one bid, which was not that much higher than the other one.
Hi, this is Fiona.
Go ahead.
Yes, Fiona.
So who's cleaning the libraries now? Do you have a temporary company, or what's going on with the cleaning of the building?
We've informed staff they are not to leave any food in the building. Our buildings and ground supervisor does do a pass-through of the bathrooms and some of the baskets, but that's about it. We only have...
So there's no sanitizing?
At the moment. Pardon?
Okay. There's no sanitizing going on?
There is nobody else cleaning the buildings. So we're all being very careful here. And to answer Mr. Aristani's question, we are following emergency bidding procedures. The township went out, they requested more bids, they got 2, and at this point, only 1 qualifies, and they are acceptable to me.
What I heard from you right now is that in this COVID situation, you reopened the library without it being sanitized, and I'm not sure if it is safe enough for people to walk in there.
Well, if you've been following the reports from the Battelle Institute and other places, acquiring the coronavirus by touch is not very prevalent. Most of the infections come from breathing. So all of the staff have been instructed to wear masks and use gloves when they're in public. So we don't believe that all of the buildings need to be sanitized, especially since they've been closed to the public for 4 months.
This is Pat, and the public is required to wear masks when they go into the building as well.
Correct. And we're limiting the number of people that come into the building at any one time.
Right.
Sorry, I have a question to ask. Did you just mention that after the bid, it's the same cleaning company, or it's a different company that's providing this cleaning service?
This would be a new company coming in.
Okay.
Now we have a motion on the floor. I believe we had a second.
Yes, it was moved by Ms. Krauze, seconded by Ms. Meade.
Yes. So do we have any further questions? If not, we can have a roll call vote.
motion to approve this cleaning company or?
Yes, to approve the cleaning company contract, the 8-month contract.
Mr. Aristani?
Yes.
Ms. Krauze?
Yes.
Ms. Meade?
Yes.
Mr. Naik? Ms. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yes.
Ms. Ruane?
Yes.
That was a yes.
Yes.
Mr. Yee?
Yes.
Ms. Massey?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 absent. And that concludes buildings and grounds. Under services, even though the library was closed to the public, the staff were present on last Friday when Tropical Storm Faye came through. And I sent the staff home at 2:30 due to the storm. We have identified some computer network equipment that we need to replace, and we hope to, should cost us less than $3,000. Nothing to report on statistical report. On the bookmobile, we have scheduled a meeting of the bookmobile committee plus a few others for early August, and we'll be conducting a discussion about what we want to see in terms of services, what worked before, what didn't, and we'll be proceeding from there before we come to the board with a proposal. On Clara Barton, a group of key staff met there on July 1st, and we looked over the whole building to figure out how we could make it more attractive to the public. We also had some information from a citizens committee that did the same thing. I believe Neville was part of that group 2 years ago. So we've compiled that, and we'll be meeting again to discuss some of the ideas and perhaps price some of them out before we come back to the board about that. Websites, based on the contract that was awarded at the June meeting, Ms. Ming is working with Renaissance Web Solutions. We've had two meetings with them. Shanshan, would you like to say anything else about the website?
We had our initial meeting. So basically, we have 90% of the contents ready for the new web page. So the developer told us it will take around 2 months for them to get the real site running. Today, we also had a meeting with the youth department and adult department supervisor for the events calendar, because that's most of our patrons interested in. We decided to continue with our current service with Events Keeper. So the design will be a lot different. I believe our patrons will love the new website. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you.
Let's see, what else under services? Nothing new to report on branding. I am convening a small staff task force, and Pat will also participate in that, which is meeting next week to talk about how the library will respond if the Edison Public Schools do not open on their normal schedule in September. If you've been watching the headlines, you know that most of the school systems are contemplating opening on alternate days or otherwise reduced schedules. And usually what happens when the schools are closed, that people send their kids to the library. And we cannot handle on a long-term basis or even a short-term basis all of the students in the Edison school system. So we're gonna have to figure out how we're going to respond to that. So hopefully when we get to the August board meeting, we'll have some ideas for you. LMXAC has a new email policy. They will be sending it out to you. It's about not using it for personal business, things like that. And finally, under services, As you know, many of our computers, both the staff computers and public computers, are out of date. They're operating on Windows 7. Here in the business office, the director has a newer computer, but the senior administrative assistant is working on Windows 7. The other administrative assistant is working off of a laptop, and when our new account clerk arrives, we don't have a computer for her at all. So we need to purchase new equipment. So I'm asking the board to approve the purchase of up to 40 Dell Optiplex computers at a cost not to exceed $30,000, which would be charged to the line for computers. We would not buy them all at once. We will be buying them in smaller groups so that they're not stacked up in the back room somewhere.
I move that we purchase the needed computers. And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aristani?
Yes.
Ms. Krauze?
Yes.
Ms. Meade?
Yes.
Mr. Naik? Ms. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yes.
Ms. Ruane?
Yes.
Mr. Yee?
Yes.
Ms. Massey?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 absent. And then finally, under personnel, first item, staff tells me that for many years, there's been a half-day session for staff training in December. This is similar to what a lot of libraries do. In Somerset County, we close for a day in the spring and a half day in the winter. Anyway, I think the schedule before was that people would arrive between 9 and 9:30, and then they start leaving at 11 o'clock, which doesn't allow for a lot of opportunity for learning. So what I'd like to do is close the building for the entire day and bring in a speaker, have some breakout workshops from that, have a box lunch, and then in the afternoon, workshops and demonstrations. Perhaps bring in a few people. I know that there's a lot of talent on the staff, and they probably would enjoy showing off some of their skills. So I'm asking the board to approve closing the library on Tuesday, December 15th for staff training.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. I'll move, or would somebody else like to make a motion that we close the library on December 15th for staff training day?
This is Lisa. I so moved. I'll make that
Do we have a
motion.
second?
This is Sue. I will second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aristani?
Yes.
Ms. Krauze?
Yes.
Ms. Meade?
Yes.
Mr. Naik? Ms. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yes.
Ms. Ruane?
Yes.
Mr. Yee?
Yes.
Ms. Massey?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 absent. Next item under personnel, please approve the 2020-2023 contract with the non-MLS staff. Mr. Bratti may want to speak to that.
Mr. Bratti?
Yes, hi, this is Dominick Bratti. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm having trouble with my mute button here. As you know, the Personnel Committee was involved with negotiations with the non-MLS staff union. Most of the changes to the contract are the same as were with the professionals, also mirrored the wage increase. There were some language issues. The proposed contract has been approved by and ratified by the union membership. And so the next step is for the full board to authorize the personnel committee or the chairperson to execute the agreement on behalf of the library.
Excellent. I'll move that we approve the contract with AFSC ME, Local 2204.
Can I ask you some?
Of course,
yeah. I mean, because that contract is pretty long. I mean, any kind of changes from the previous contract that the attorney can give us or anyone can give us, like in summary, like for example, the salary or wage increase or those kind of terms.
Sure. The many of the changes, the language changes, were as a result of changes in the law. For example, the family leave law was updated to comply with what the leave law that's in effect at the time the contract was negotiated. I don't have it right in front of me. So some of the other changes, I don't remember the exact percentage of the wage increase, but it was the same wage increase that was given to the professionals. So I think it was, Ms. Maisie, or does anyone on the committee recall? I think it was 1.5.
No, it was 3, 2, and 2.
I think it was 2 and 2.
There you go.
Yeah, 3, 2, and 2.
Okay. 1 second.
We gave 3% first year and 2% the following.
That was right. That was the same.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So it was 3, 2, 2, 3% first year, 2% the second year, and 2% the third year.
Yes.
Now, it had taken a while to negotiate that contract. So as we had done in the past, that 3%, the year was, we retroed it back to when the contract ended so that no one's losing any pay as a result of the time it took to negotiate it. Actually, once we started negotiating, it was fairly quickly negotiated. There was one in-person session before the COVID pandemic hit, and then there was kind of like this kind of Zoom kind of session, and then we had some phone calls back and forth. But there was some delay then with the union ratifying it because of the COVID situation, et cetera. They had in their bylaws that they had to meet in person. I think they subsequently got around that. But the changes to your question were essentially, the financial changes were like I said, in accordance with what was done with the professionals union, and many of the other changes were also to bring those two contracts with the same kind of language, et cetera. There wasn't really anything of substance that was given away or agreed to by the library committee. For example, I think they had the union wanted to change a couple of days on the holidays that were available, but in order to be consistent with, you can't have the library closed for half for the professionals and not have it the same day off for the non-professionals. So we had to have those in sync, and they had to be in sync with what the township gives for days off. So that was essentially the changes. It really was, and there were a lot of little language issues to conform to the law, and some clarifying issues to, for example, on seniority, they wanted to clarify, that it's seniority within the position, et cetera, and things like that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do we have a second on this motion?
This is Sue. I'll second it.
Thank you. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Aristoni?
Yes.
Ms. Krauze?
Yes.
Ms. Meade?
Yes.
Mr. Naik?
Yes.
Oh, Ms. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yes. Sorry.
Ms. Ruane?
Yes.
Mr. Yee?
Yes.
Ms. Massey?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 absent. Next item under personnel, I'm asking you to eliminate 4 titles from the library's title list. Head of Security, Head of Finance, Community Outreach Worker, and Information Technology Strategist. These are all unusual titles in the library world. I haven't come across them myself, and by and large, they haven't existed as people on the library staff, and I don't think anybody will be creating those positions. So asking to have them eliminated from the list.
Do we have a motion?
Yes, this is Lisa, so moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Yes, this is Sue, second.
Can we have a roll call vote?
Mr. Aristani?
No.
No. Ms. Krauze?
Yes.
Ms. Meade?
Yes.
Mr. Naik? Ms. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Peng?
Yeah.
Ms. Ruane?
Yes.
Mr. Yee?
Yes.
Ms. Massey?
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no, 1 absent. On the flip side, I'm asking you to approve 3 new titles. First one is Courier. It's the same position that was formerly called Assistant to the Supervisor of Buildings and Grounds. We had 2 of those. One of them has been changed to a full-time custodian position. This one will concentrate on doing deliveries. And there was enough changes in that to warrant bringing it to the board. So,
all right. Do we want to vote on each title?
What's the difference between this communications coordinator and the one that you are eliminating as a community outreach worker?
Community outreach worker would be somebody who goes around to, as I understood it, to local groups, nursing homes, things like that, presenting programs and information services. A communications coordinator is somebody who's going to be overseeing our whole public relations effort. They will be overseeing how we develop our websites, what we put on Facebook, Instagram, whatever the next popular app is. They'll maintain our brand so that we're not, we have a consistent message that goes out to the public. It's all outlined there in the job description.
The question is, I have is for the library, do we have that much job, that much task to want
Yes.
a new person? I mean, a new title for that, or?
There was formerly a principal library assistant who was given responsibility for public relations. And that person was, as near as I can tell, had things to do with making posters and artwork and other things. It didn't have any requirements other than a high school diploma. What we're looking at here is based on my conversation with a friend of mine who teaches in the communications department at Rutgers University and my experience at Somerset County. We need somebody who's in charge of putting our message out to the public. One of the things that's handicapped us over the last couple of months during this crisis is there is nobody who can speak for the library besides me. And we need somebody who the press can contact and say, what's happening at the library? Why are you closed? When are you opening? And especially in the case of a crisis, somebody gets killed on the library lawn, the interim director runs away with the bank book, something like that. You need somebody who's going to know how to deal with the press and the public, and in a professional way. And it's a skill that you need to hire for. Not everybody can do it.
What I'm questioning is that, do we have that much demand for a person? I mean, if you are saying this way, I would say like the other one, the community outreach, right? I mean, it's also an important thing because you have to deal with the residents here.
Yes, I mean, do.
In my opinion, like, for example, you don't need to deal with the press that frequent, right? In that, and probably like, as you said, the director is the best person to represent the library.
I have other things to do, as will your regular director when she or he gets here at the end of the year. I need to remind everybody that this is a 4-building, $6.5 million, 70-employee operation. And a library this size, any organization this size, will have somebody who specializes in communications, both internal and external.
This is Pat, and I do agree with that. Other large libraries do have a position like this with somebody in charge of public relations and the website and the overall branding of the library. Any other questions on the titles?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Fiona.
Yes.
The library associate, is that like the library assistant, or what's the same and what's the difference?
Main difference is that we are requiring a 4-year college degree to be a library associate, whereas a library assistant, you only need to have a, well, I don't even know that there's a requirement for a high school diploma, but usually that's the entry level for that. So we're looking for a higher level of education, and we will be tasking them with slightly more involved duties. They will not, however, be taking any duties away from professional librarians.
And who will they work under, or who will they assist, or,
They'll be reporting to professional librarians.
Okay.
I have a question. The library associate, is that somewhat of a recognized title with the LMX?
Yes.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, it's been a civil service title for at least 30 years, if not longer. And the New Jersey Library Association has included it in its annual salary recommendations. I'm going to say going back 20 years to when I was on the board, it was introduced. So,
okay,
yeah, it's a common title now.
It is. Okay, thank you.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve the new titles of Courier, Communications Coordinator, and Library Associate?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we approve the 3 new titles.
Do we have a second?
This is Fiona. I second.
Who? That was David?
I'm sorry, who was that?
I was going to.
David, is that you?
No, I heard Fiona.
Oh, Fiona. Okay.
No, I was also trying to say something. Are we going to move this? Are we going to vote this position one by one?
Well, if you would prefer to do that, we can certainly do that as well. Do we have a motion to approve the new title of Courier?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Okay, could we have very good, okay. Could we have a roll call vote on the title of Courier?
Mr. Aristani. Ms. Krauze.
Yes.
Ms. Meade.
Yes.
Mr. Naik.
Naik is texting me that he is still being muted.
I cannot identify him.
Let me see, what's his phone number?
Ms. O'Neill.
Yes.
Ms. Peng.
Yes.
Ms. Ruane. Ms. Ruane.
Yes.
Mr. Yee.
Yes.
Ms. Massey.
Yes.
7 yes, 2 absent.
Vasant's phone number ends with 1888. That's what I have. He's texting me. Can try to unmute him.
I just unmute him.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, because I was talking, talking
Okay,
that time.
finally.
I can hear, but I cannot say anything. But it's okay. But there are a lot of positions you guys are opening. I believe you guys have done all the due intelligence for this, because this should not backfire to the board. Yeah. So I believe the president and the person is talking. So that's why we are going with yes. Hopefully, it should work fine. Yeah.
So, Vasant, are you voting yes to approve the title of courier?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as we have the complete, planning that yearly review of the person. So if it doesn't work, then 1 year is enough to give the chance, someone, Yeah.
All right, so the vote
All
is
right.
2-1 on that position.
Excellent. All right, do we have a motion to approve the title of communications coordinator?
This is Lisa, so moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
This is Sue, I'll second.
Thank you. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Aristani. Ms. Krauze.
Yes.
Ms. Meade.
Yes.
Mr. Naik.
Yes. With one small concern, because I was talking that time, make sure that then the communication should go to each and every one, because I was talking that time, but it was on mute. So I believe, again, it's the same thing. We should utilize that person as much as we can. Yes.
Ms. O'Neill.
Yes.
Ms. Peng. Ms. Peng.
Yeah, is this for the, which position is this?
This is for communication coordinator.
No.
Ms. Ruane. Ms. Ruane.
Yes.
Mr. Yee.
No. Can you unmute Nabil again? He said he's being muted. He's texting me that he's being also muted. That's the reason he's not being able to say anything or vote.
Mr. Aristani. Ms. Massey.
Yes.
No, that means we need the technician to unmute him.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but is him 4828 the last 4 digit?
Let me see what's his.
I think our all numbers are listed there. So why there?
It's 6400.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, 6400 is his last 4 digits.
Okay, I just unmuted him.
All right. Mr. Aristani.
I'm here. I voted no.
6 yes, 3 no.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the title of library associate?
This is Lisa, so moved.
Second?
This is Sue, I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Aristani?
No.
Ms. Krauze?
Yes.
Ms. Meade?
Yes.
Mr. Naik?
Yes.
Ms. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Peng? Ms. Peng?
Yes.
Ms. Ruane?
Yes.
Mr. Yee?
Yes.
Ms. Massey?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no.
Thank you.
And then the rest of it was, of the personnel report was for your information. And that concludes my report.
Yes, thank you very much. Is there any other item? I don't believe there is, but just want to make sure.
Are we going to discuss the staff changes? This is Fiona.
No, we will be discussing any of the personnel issues at our closed session next week, and no action can be taken at that time. It's just to discuss.
Okay.
So the next agenda item are our committee reports, and they are postponed. You did hear a little bit about the bookmobile, and there's been no movement on policies or negotiation, of course, is completed. Do we have any unfinished business?
Nothing from me.
I don't believe we have any unfinished business.
No, finally got the contract done. They can get their retroactive pay.
Yes, thank
that
goodness.
Is all good and done.
That is very, very good. So I think we are now at the point for public comment. And as we did last time, perhaps while we're waiting for any, for anything to come in for public comment, if there are any announcements. Do we have any announcements? Well, I would like to just say congratulations to you, Keith, and the staff for a smooth reopening, because that has been very, very challenging. And I would also like to add that as a member of that task force, Top Cats, the statewide task force, I am very happy that our community is one of the, is also thinking of how public libraries need to react to the possibility of schools, students not attending school full time in the fall. So we'll be talking more about that. And I also would like to remind everybody that even though we cannot meet in person in the fall for the trustees, that the trustees continue to have meetings that are available online. So if you go to their website, you'll see, in fact, they're having one on Thursday. And they are, I've attended a few, and they're very, very helpful. Does anybody else have any other announcements?
We need to leave.
Yeah, hi, President. But just one question, because
Yes.
I was on mute that time.
Of course.
21st of July, we have a committee meeting for selecting the chairman. So I will try my level best to join. But if and the same day we have my son's graduation also in the JP Stevens, so we don't know what time it is going to happen. So I'm going to check. Maybe if I miss that meeting, please excuse me. Okay. But I will try my level best to join over the phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I think you might have heard that is we're going to meet through Zoom. We won't be meeting in person, and it'll be through Zoom.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that maybe that will make
okay.
it a little bit easier, perhaps.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other comments or announcements?
Oh, we're open for comment for 5 minutes, and we still have 3 to go.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, silence stretches out, doesn't it?
It does. It does. That's true. That's true.
Just maybe echo what Pat said. I mean, we both as a trustee and the residents of Edison, we appreciate all of the contribution by the staff members during this difficult time. I mean, to get the library to reopen is a pretty challenging work. So thanks everyone, all of the staff members for the hard work and I mean to get it reopened during this time.
I will pass that on to the staff.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
And
it has
also
really
let
been
them-
challenging.
Yeah, and let them know if they have any kind of concern. Feel free to let like the director and the board members know.
Well, I usually practice an open door policy, and several people have taken advantage of that. Hello.
That's good.
I'm in a
That's
meeting
good. Yeah, it's interesting being part of these Top Cats discussions. That all of the libraries throughout the state are grappling with the same issues. Nobody knows. Nobody, numbers keep on increasing. Fortunately, not in New Jersey, but you just don't know what the future is going to bring.
I was on a webinar with the state library last Wednesday, and they reported that of about 480 libraries and public libraries and library systems in the state, 80 of them opened last Monday, and the bulk of the libraries were opening yesterday, as we did. But I know of at least one library that's not opening until September, per their mayor's decision. So I think the fact we're able to reopen our doors is a good sign.
It is. It is. And I know the public is very, very happy.
Oh, the window of opportunity has been for 5 minutes now, and I don't have any emails to report from the public.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, we know that we are meeting next Tuesday for our special closed session, and then our next regular meeting is August 12th. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes. So I.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Listen, stay safe, and we're looking forward to our meeting next Tuesday.
Thank you very much. Stay safe, everyone.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right.
Night,
All
everybody.
right. 8:10.
Good night.
Take care.